What if I told you that just like plants, we absorb the sun? What if I explained to you that I'm wearing yellow because I am standing behind and I'm happy to be a part of the Sunflower Squad? You may be wondering what that is, but before we get there, do you know where the sunflower got its name from? It got its name because it always faces the sun. It doesn't matter where you plant it, it doesn't matter how things get tough and rough, it always finds the light. And that is why today I am just elated to be talking to the author of the book, The Reigning Sunflower. We attended university together. She works with the RGR Communications Group and she is a force to be reckoned with. I'm speaking of none other than Tamaya Henry. She's a TV producer and a creative strategist. And she's just added to that, published author. She is the author of the book, The Reigning Sunflower, Diary of a Sunflower Seed, Poetry about Survival and Growth. You're gonna be happy you stopped by today. Hi, Tamaya. Thank you so very much for joining me on the program. I have been a quiet fan for a little while. You may not have even known that. So it's great having you. Which is one of the reasons I'm wearing yellow today. Specific.
The squad.
Representing the squad. And for persons who have been watching my podcast since I started, they would have realized that a lot of it has to do with how persons are coping, different areas of your life that you can, sort out during this COVID virus. That's not the only aim of this podcast, but because that's the time within which we're living, we're paying a lot of attention to that. How to take care of your mental health during this time, how to save money. Can you save money during this time and all that good jazz? Today, some persons might be saying, oh, really? Today is a little different. No, it's not different. Guess why? You are an inspiration because in the midst of all this, when persons see all of the terrible things that are happening, the fact that, oh, this is such a crisis, you have found the opportunity within it to explore, be yourself, to create something, and that is why you're here. So thank you for that. Let's start there.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you for even considering me. I think this is my first official interview as it relates to the book. So I'm
Hey,
happy to be here.
yes, I'm happy because you're going places. So it's great to know that this is one of the starting points. I'm not trying to snatch a little interview after you've gone all those wonderful places.
Yeah.
So you have been doing great. You have been doing a wonderful job in media for the longest while. The way you inspire persons with your social media, on your social media platforms, is wonderful. And now you've moved a step further. You're an author. You're a published author. All the way I write something, but you're a published author. The book, The Reigning Sunflower. The cover is so beautiful. I think I'll just have to put it there. Tell me about that. Tell me why it is that you decided that, hey, I'm writing this book and this is what I want this book to be about.
Okay, so this book has been coming with me, or has been growing with me since I was like about 15. I started writing because my life was rough. I grew up in the rural parts of St. Mary, and that's a whole lot of story that one day I hope we can sit down to talk about. But yeah, writing is my therapy. It helps me to feel better. It improves my mood. So I've been writing over the years, and it was about like 6 years ago I decided that, hey, I could put all of this, I could compile it and create a book. So in 2018, after my Miss Jamaica World venture, I decided that I was going to publish, created the cover, informed my social, made the announcement on my social media, but then somehow deep inside me, I still was not ready to put out all of that content to the world because some of my poetry, I hold them very dear to my heart. So I wasn't quite sure. I was nervous. I was scared. So fear overruled, and it's been in my email for over 3 years. So during this quarantine time, now my mom passed in January, so it's been a rough time and a lot for me to deal with. But then I revisited the book and I'm like, yo, this has helped me tremendously. And I think maybe this might help other people too. Or even if it doesn't inspire them, it might encourage them to write. And that in turn might turn out to be their form of therapy. So that is where the book, the backstory, that's the backstory on the Raining Sunflower.
And for me, I'm just going to read a little snippet right here on Amazon. Guys, that's where you can get it. You can get the Kindle version, you can get the paperback version. I wanted a
Mm-hmm.
paper to go through the pages, but because of COVID, I think I might just get a Kindle version for the time being. And about the book, it's a deep awakening and intensified arousal. Listen to the words. These are beautiful. Require true self-discovery. That's just beautiful. Why self-discovery is so important anyway for any one of us?
All right, so self discovery is the beginning of awakening, I would say, because that's how you know yourself. You have to be aware of what's going on in your mind, what's going on with your emotions, your mental state. And as I said before, my mom was diagnosed with mental health issues from I was a little child. So it kind of then forces me to be a little bit more aware of myself, what's going on within my mind, with my body, how I react to things, because it is only then that you learn self control and that you can unlock your truest potential. So, self discovery, yeah, self discovery was a big thing for me. It was a process, it didn't happen overnight because, as I said before, fear was taking all over. Fear was living in me. But it is the true self discovery that kind of helped me to get out of the fear and to just embrace my truest self and just put myself out there.
Okay, that sounds good. So would you say that writing in itself, because different, all of us have different coping mechanisms. One of the programs I did earlier when we were talking about mental health is that sometimes we are unwilling to recognize that the same way you can have a back pain, the same way you can feel sick today, you can have mental issues and it doesn't mean that you're mad. And that is something that's important. But would you say that writing for you has been your coping mechanism? It has been your escape. It has been the thing that brings back mental health, well, brings it to a nice balance, a nice high for you?
Yes, I would definitely credit my balance to writing, my mental balance to writing, because a lot of I've been this girl has been through so much in life, failed relationships, um, climbing failed opportunities, being rejected from job interviews to the next, not knowing your next move, being kicked out of college because you're not able to pay your tuition. So it's a big ball game. And by the time, a fact that I love to share with people is the fact that by the time I was 20, I would have moved over 20 times to show you how unstable my life was from about six to where I am now. So writing really is my escape. And I find that when I put my thoughts to paper, it lifts my mood automatically. I cry tears to paper. And whenever I write a poem, when I read it back, it kind of, it's almost like I'm growing through the circumstance, I'm growing through the challenge. And so each time I look back, it reminds me of a place where I was once in my life and how I've overcome.
Okay, that's beautiful. Because I've known you for a while. We went to NCU together. Mark, I probably left when you probably just started because not that young anymore. But no one would have thought, honestly, no one would have thought that you were going through rough periods. No one would have thought that, hey, the struggle is that real for you. So you have
Mhm.
been doing a good job at balancing everything out, and that's commendable. About your book, though, why the title, The Raining Sunflower? Of all things,
Okay,
it's an
so
interesting title.
yes, it is. I guess they said nothing happens before its time because back in 2018, when I wanted to publish, however, I didn't feel as if I was ready. The title was totally different. It was called Earnest Intimacy. And I was like, I was comfortable with it, but you know, when the gut feeling, not a
Yeah.
100% right with it, and I was just like, okay, fine. But then, since COVID, I kind of revisited the manuscript, all excited. I spent 5 nights of going through and fixing things. Um, and then for the title, I had a lot of flashcards with a lot of titles on it, and I'm like, Raining Sunflower, a lot of them. And that one stood out to me because it represents my journey. It shows how I'm able to reign despite of my situation. And for that too, it was specifically chosen because everybody who comes in contact with that book, I want them to find their true self and to reign as well despite their circumstances and their challenges. So
Okay, that's
raining
beautiful.
sunflower, right? So I mean, even after I didn't know how powerful the title was until after I've published and a lot of other women in my circle, I hear them repeating the title and I'm like, yo, that's powerful.
Yeah.
That is powerful.
What's the story of a sunflower, though? Because I do know that yellow is your color, and I
Mhm.
would have, even when you talk about mental health, yellow is one of those good colors you can paint your room in to help brighten you. It's true, and uplift you. So why a sunflower? It could be a raining rose, a raining any flower. Why a sunflower?
Because the sunflower, it doesn't matter the soil or where it's planted, it's always facing the sun. It always faces the sun, and that represents me as a person. So, how I handle all my situation, it doesn't matter how hard or how tough it gets, I always choose to focus on the bright side of life. And it's not just employed to me, my friends, people around me, I feel some level of satisfaction when I'm able to add that, light to their day. So yellow is my favorite color because it, as you said, it improves the mood and it just makes me feel a whole lot better. Maybe down and I see somebody in a nice yellow outfit and I'm like automatically transformed into the happiest person in the world. So yeah, the sunflower because it's always facing the sun. Stick to the brighter side of life.
I love it. It's beautiful. Um, would you like to share with us a snippet for persons who I know are listening and persons who are watching, and I'm sure they will purchase a copy of your book because it's worthy of the read. Is there any specific poem in there that you would like to share with us? Any specific poem that you think could really help someone today? I mean, all of them, I believe, are wonderful. But is there a specific one that just speaks to you?
Ooh, ooh. I think it would be the first poem in the book, I Am, and that's because it represents my personality in different situations and it's using colors to represent my whole personality. I can't promise that I'll get all the lines right, but I can give you the first few lines. And it says,
Yeah.
I am very unapologetic for living a green life, being very young, with lots of yellow dashed all over my personality. Hate all you want, but I'll be nothing but orange to you. And in my solitude, I'll prefer to be blueful. I don't remember anymore from the top of my head, but I think you can understand the color psychology and what each color represents. Because believe it or not, colors are so. influential on our moods and how we react to people. So I kind of like incorporated the colors to represent my personality.
Okay, I actually did read that poem, and I loved the play on words. I loved the way you used colors in the poem. It was beautiful because I was wondering, okay, you're an awesome writer. Why a book of poems? Because I'm sure your life is as colorful as a rainbow. It has its ups and downs, but at the end of it, it has this wonderful inspiration behind it. Inspiration that can really touch hearts. And I'm sure you'll write that book one day. But it's a matter of why not that book and why a book of poems?
Why a book of poems? Is that the
Yeah.
question? Okay, so
Yes.
as I said before, like poetry has really been, I didn't even know what to call it because some of them they really don't observe or are not inclined to the traditional laws or rules of poetry. They're just random thoughts and random minds and words that flow out of my being to make me feel a bit better as well as to improve the lives of others around me. And before we move on a little bit, I remember the last part of the I am poem. It says, we're all a little bit like the rainbow, and it's up to us to add meaning to the colors of our life. I remember that part now.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. So, poetry, I started as well to write a biography, but I don't know, maybe I can revisit that one day. But I
Looking
think,
forward to it.
yeah, I think poetry really is. It's how people can you can take people along a journey with you in different section by different page, so this page might be a little bit sad and this page might be a little bit happy. So whatever mood you're going through, there's something for you. There is a poem that speaks to you. So I would say that I chose poetry because of the fact that I'm very expressive, and it doesn't really apply or subscribe to any English or poetic rule. So
And that's one of the things I love about poems and I love about poetry and pouring yourself into what you write because songs are poems, just that they're sung. Because the
mhm,
truth is, that's why I always think that you can't teach creative writing. I'm
mhm,
one of those persons who think you can't tell me it has to rhyme this way. You can't tell me because this is what's coming out of me. And it
mhm,
comes authentically out that way. I
yeah.
cannot shape it any other way. It comes as it wants to, and that is fine. So I'm definitely looking forward to reading your book in its entirety. I'm getting tongue twisted in its entirety because from just the first poem that I saw posted online, I was like, no,
Mhm,
I have to reach out to her. Are you crazy? This is important. So for all the persons who want a copy or who want to have continuous conversations with you, who want to understand you and understand themselves, because poetry does that to you. So I'll read your words and it does something else for me. It brings me to another place, which is why I think you really, really published this and we're grateful for that. So where can we find you on social media so we can ask you about your book and talk to you?
Okay, so my personal page, which is also a lot of inspiration, is Hoxygen, HOXI_JEN. And the Sunflower Squad that I started since, the latest publication, Raining Sunflower, that is underscore Maya Tam underscore. So I'm starting a whole new squad over there with lots of human sunflowers. So the plan is to take human beings and to just transform them into their best selves. So you can stay tuned. I am planning some workshops on my IG Live and also for my YouTube channel. And it promises to be exciting because I'm excited for the journey as well.
I am. I think you have a YouTube channel. Did you mention that? I don't remember you saying that.
I do. It's the Sunflower Squad. That's what it's called.
Okay, because I know I clicked on and I'm like, oh, I need to start subscribing to this channel. So it's wonderful. And for persons who want to purchase the book now, where do they go? Where can they get it?
So for now, it's available on Amazon, the Kindle version and the paperback. However, if you're in Jamaica, if you order a paperback, it might take a little time or you may experience delays because of COVID, the unfortunate
Yeah.
situation of COVID. And I pray that everybody at home are doing safe and sound and they're doing their part in stemming this terrible virus.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you one quick question. Should we look forward to, should I get my yellow dress prepared for an after COVID book signing?
Of
Because
course,
I want my copy signed, that is why I'm trying to get a paperback. Let's just put that out there.
so a lot of people are asking about it. A lot of people are not entirely interested in the ebook version, but they're just buying now because they're so excited. However, they
Yes,
really
I'm one of those
are.
persons.
Thank you. They're really requesting an official launch, and that's not something that I was really planning to do. But now it's just on the table, and I guess I'm just gonna roll with it. And that launch,
Okay.
I'll probably just use it as an opportunity to connect with other people and also an opportunity for other creatives to come on and share their art. So it won't be just about the raining sunflowers. It will be about the multiple sunflowers who are, making an impact within our community.
Yeah, because that's what I was going to say. Because you're using this opportunity now to do work digitally, which makes sense. So by the time you're ready to, by the time post COVID, and you're ready to have your book signing, you would have already had some baby sunflowers, some half matured sunflowers,
I tell
all of
you.
us at different stages ready to join the movement, because I think a lot of times when people write books or when they do things, they don't realize how many lives that they're touching. They don't realize that it's not just a book. And I hope you know that as well, that this is not just a book, it is a movement. Yes,
That's what
a
I'm
movement to
slowly
help.
that's what I'm trying to bring myself to accept, because now when I see the multiple requests, the love, the inspiration, people, the feedback has been great. And now I've taken on a whole new responsibility, and I'm like, wow, Tamaya, I guess this is the purpose. Because before now, I've been praying for God to reveal my purpose. I mean, I've been, I do my job well, but there is more to life than just going to work, earning, and going home. So I was praying to God for Him to reveal my purpose, and I think this is His
Yep.
revelation.
I think so, and I'm happy to be a little sunflower joining the movement. Before we wrap and go, though, is there any final word that you'd like to share? Any encouragement that you'd like to give to persons who are currently in that stage, looking for their purpose in life, aren't sure if this is the time to truly find that purpose? Because in a crisis, some people see the worst, but sometimes it's the best opportunity for you to step out and do what it is that you need to do. So, any further or any final word in that regard?
Okay, so the first thing first, you want to ensure that you maintain a mental balance. Maintain a balance in your life. Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't compare yourself to other people's success, and don't envy other people, because your time will come. A lot of us, we're in tune to social media. We see, this person is publishing a book, this person is starting their own business. And so we force ourselves to put a timeline on our dreams and our goals. And that can be very lethal to our mental health whenever those aren't achieved in the time we said we were going to complete them or to achieve them. We tend to go into a depression mode, and we need to take care of our mental health. So that is one thing that I encourage people to do. Take your time, trust your process, and celebrate your progress. Because if you don't, you know, it's gonna throw you off balance. So take some time, look at how far you've come, you know, and celebrate your progress and take your time and work towards your goals and your dreams, because eventually if you work hard enough, eventually they will all come to fruition. You just have to keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going until you get there.
Okay, that's beautifully put. Thank you so very much for joining the program. I look forward to being a part of this movement that you've created. As soon as I'm done with this conversation, I actually thought I had started following several of these, but currently it's just your Instagram. And I will definitely link all of these below so that persons can join in on the movement. They say if you hear about a good thing, you can't keep it to yourself. And I definitely cannot keep it to myself. So just want to remind all the persons who are listening or watching that they can get their book on Amazon. The Raining Sunflower, Diary of a Sunflower Seed. It's so beautiful. Poetry about survival and growth. And you can get the Kindle version for $5 US dollars, guys, not Jamaican dollars. Come on, you know this. And of course, paperback for $14. And you're doing yourself a wonderful, wonderful thing when you get a copy. Thank you so very much for being inspirational. Thank you so very much for living your purpose. It's going to bless many of us.
Thank you, and thank you so much for having me on here as well. I mean, you've always been someone that I look up to. You've always been that sunflower, on the radio. For real, you've always been that sunflower. I mean, you've never treated me badly when we happened to cross paths back in school, and that's something that I love and I admire about people, how you treat people. So thank you for just being great and for setting an example and for following your dreams, setting an example and telling other people like me who were, growing, maturing, following in your footsteps, that it's possible for us to live out our purpose and to live out our dreams.
You're very, thank you.
A whole new interview.
Oh, we have many more interviews to come. Trust me, this movement is awesome, and we're gonna have great things to talk about. This is just the beginning. I'm speaking it into being,
Yes.
Power in the tongue.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to the future, and before, even after COVID, we'll definitely chat. So thank you so much once again, and we'll chat later.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Sunflower. Bye.
And that was Tamaya Henry, TV producer, creative strategist, and author. And I dare say she is also the founder of a movement, the Sunflower Squad. Do ensure that you pick up a copy of her book. You can get it on Amazon. I do know that now it's a bit difficult to get your paperback shipped to you. That is why you can purchase the Kindle version, and hopefully we can learn from all she's written and be able to learn to find our true purpose and face the sun like a sunflower. That's it for today's program. I'm Ruth and Can't wait to catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.